Okay, so only a couple more pieces left, and then we'll finally have the launcher completed. Alright, still going to do the rocket, but that's not going to take nearly as long as this thing did. Alright, so let's check our reference here. Alright, we don't really need this anymore. I'm just going to close it. Alright, check this one out. Okay, we can see it pretty good here. So I guess we'll use this as our main reference. I also have a picture of just the iron sight by itself. So I'm going to go back into the assets browser and just open that up. Right, here it is here. Alright, you can see this one's not nearly as complicated as the one we made up here on the top. Alright, so it shouldn't take nearly as long to do. This piece is a little bit complex, but I don't think it'll be too bad to do. Okay, so we're going to need to start by making a couple more of these bands. Alright, and again, they're slightly different than the other ones, so we're going to have to make another one from scratch. Alright, this one's a little bit different. This one's more blocky, and this one looks like it has kind of just a tab sticking out with a screw through it. Okay, so we'll have to make it one more time. Alright, I know it's getting a little repetitive making all these different pieces that are all, similar, but there's really nothing we can do about it because they're all slightly different. Okay, so let's just hit Control A, select everything, and I'm going to deselect the barrel holding Alt, and just right click and hide selection, just to get some of that stuff out of the way. Okay, and we'll go back into the front view, and we'll just do this the same way we've been doing. We'll start with a tube one last time. Alright, so we'll grab a tube, and I'm just going to drag one out here. Okay, give it some height, and back to perspective. Alright, let's just line it up. So the align tool again, and click on the barrel. Alright, X, Y, and Z, both pivot points, and OK. Alright, we'll just pull it down to the end here. Alright, so let's go into the modify panel, and we'll just figure out how big we need the radius to be. Just take one last look here. Alright, so they're pretty much the thickness of the other ones we made. Okay, so let's just raise this up a bit. Let's try 15.6 on the first radius, and I'm just going to do 16.6 on the second one, I think. Alright, and the height we can do in a second. Let's just get rid of the height segments, take them down to 1. And I think I'm going to do about 40 sides on this again. Alright, just so it's nice and smooth. Okay, and let's jump out into the left view. Alright, just going to hit Z, hit F3. Okay, so I'm just going to move it back. Alright, not that one. Just undo that. Alright, and let's just raise the height a bit. Alright, let's say 13 for the height. I think that should be cool. Alright, maybe like that. Okay, so let's take a look. Alright, so these aren't too complicated, it just has that one piece sticking out. Alright, and then it's got the screw going through. So we could cut a hole in the band for the screw. I might do that, but if you don't want to bother, it's not necessarily something you have to do just because the screw head's going to pretty much cover the hole anyway. Alright, but I think I'll do it because it's only going to take a couple of seconds. Alright, so let's convert our band headable poly. Alright, just change the color on this so we can see better. Okay, let's go into the front view for a sec. And I'm just going to right click and unhide by name. Okay, I'm just going to hit S. Alright, and I'm just going to unhide the scope and all the sight pieces. Alright, this guy up here. Alright, just because I think you want these, fairly lined up. Okay, so we got to figure out where we're going to pull this piece out of. Alright, I think we'll do it over here. We might even be able to do it just out of the top and then just rotate it, which I might do. It'll be a little easier. Okay, so let's go into the perspective view. Alright, we'll just zoom in on top here. I'm just going to grab one of the top ones. Maybe this guy here. Okay, and then we'll go back. And we'll just extrude this again. And that's probably way too much. I'm going to take it down. Let's do maybe 5. And okay. Alright. And I'm just going to go up to rotate, exit polygon, turn off my angle snaps, and I'm just going to rotate this a bit so it's kind of straight up, right, just to make it a little quicker and easier to do. Alright, just like that. Okay. And this might be a little wider than the one on the reference, but I think it'll be, okay. Alright, so let's go into isolation mode again, Alt Q. Okay, and we'll just do this the same way we did our other ones. Okay, so I'm going to go to edge first, and grab one on the outside, and on the inside holding control, and we'll ring and connect 2 segments, and we'll just pinch them apart. Alright, maybe 90, and okay. Alright, we are going to turbo smooth this, so that's why I'm adding the support. Alright, then we'll grab the one edge on each side, do another ring, another connect, 2 segments, and just lower the amount down. Alright, maybe 40, and okay. Alright, and same with this one up here. Let's grab all these guys on the tab piece, connect 2 again, and I'm just going to pinch them apart a little more. Alright, we'll do 80 or so, and okay. Alright, and let's do some sideways here. Connect. Alright, take this down a little bit. Alright, 70 should do it, and okay. Alright, and again, we're going to need to add one down the center for our hole, so let's just do that. And again, if you don't want to bother cutting the hole, you don't have to, you can just skip this part. Alright, so we'll ring, connect. Alright, 1 segment, no pinch, no slide, and okay. And let's add one across the tab. Alright, so connect, just so it's in center. Alright, and we'll do this the same way, using a circle to cut our hole. Alright, so I'm just going to jump out to the left view, zoom in. Okay, exit edge, and let's go back to the create panel to shapes, grab a circle, and we'll just drag one out here. Alright, it probably doesn't need to be huge. Let's do maybe 1 on the radius, and we'll open up the interpolation, roll it again, and take our steps down to 1, just so we get 8 sides. Alright, and let's center it at the intersection. Okay, and let's select our band, turn our snaps back on, and again, you can always right click to make sure you only have vertex turned on. Okay, and into the modify panel to cut, and again, we'll just follow the shape starting at this edge, and clicking on each point. Alright, back to restart, right click to end. Okay, and let's do it on the other side. Just going to change the view from left to right. Alright, F3 so we can see it, and just do the same thing. And I'll try to do this fairly quickly just because we've done it, quite a few times already, and I know it's going to be a little monotonous watching it again. Alright, so we'll cut that in, exit cut, go back to perspective, and we'll just quad it up. Okay, so I might just do this with cut because it's probably going to be a little quicker. Okay. And just connect them up. And you can do it with, connect if you want. By vert, it doesn't matter which way you do it as long as it's all quads. Alright, right click to end. Alright, just like that. And let's punch our hole through, so I'm going to exit cut, go to polygon, turn on ignore back facing, and we'll just select the 8 guys that make up our hole. Okay. And inset. Alright, it looks like I missed a weld again, so I'm just going to cancel that. Alright, let's go to vertex and just check. Alright, I got 2 right there, so I'm just going to weld those. Check the other ones. Alright, 2 there. Alright, it looks good. Let's check the other side. Alright, looks like I missed quite a few. Okay, so they look good now. Let's go back to polygon and inset. And just lower the amount. Alright, maybe 0.07 and okay. And then we'll hit bridge, punch it through, and we'll go back to edge and just add our support to the inside of the hole. Okay, ring, connect, 2 segments, and just pinch them apart. Alright, we'll say maybe 90 and okay. Alright, and we'll exit edge. Okay, so just like that. I know I sped through it kind of quick, but yeah, I just don't want to, you have to sit there and watch me do this, for the 10th time. Okay, so let's put a turbo smooth on and just make sure it's going to be okay. Alright, so into the modify list, down to turbo smooth, and 2 iterations, and isoline display. Alright, turn our edges off. Okay, so that looks okay. And I didn't add any support edges across this way, like we did on the other ones, just because on the reference picture, these are pretty soft, again, okay? So, yeah, I left those out. Alright, so that's probably okay for the band piece. Let's exit isolation mode. Alright, just gonna hit Z. Just take a look. Okay, so we're gonna have to rotate it, obviously, so it's sitting on the right angle. We might want to add the screw head before we do that, just so we can rotate it together. Make it a little easier to line it up, but before we do that, let's save one more time. Okay, so before we do the screw, let's just name this so we can keep organized. Alright, I'm just going to call it iron sight band. Pretty sure this thing on the end is called an iron sight. It could be wrong. Alright, so I'll just call it that, and center the pivot on it. Alright, hierarchy tab, fact pivot only, center object, turn it off. Alright, and we can probably chuck our gray shader on there. Okay, so we'll do the screw and then we'll rotate it and clone it over to get the other band, so let's take a look at the screw. Alright, so this one's a little different than the previous ones we made. It looks like it might actually be for like an Allen wrench or an Allen key. Alright, so I might make a new one for this. Again, though, if you don't want to, take the time to do that, that's cool. You can just clone off one of your other ones, and it's not really going to matter. It's your model, so it's up to you what it looks like. Okay, but I think I'll just take a couple of seconds and just make another one. Alright, so let's jump out into the right view. Alright, we can't see anything, so our blueprint's blocking it, so let's change it from right to left. Alright, and let's grab the circle there and delete it. We don't need it anymore. Okay, and we'll go into wireframe here, F3, and I'm just going to turn the snaps off. Alright, so I think for this I'll just use maybe do it out of splines. Okay, so let's go over and grab a circle. Create panel on shapes. Alright, we'll just drag one out here. I'm going to go a bit bigger than the hole. Okay, just try to center it. And if you still only have 8 sides on your circle, just go into the modify panel and open up the interpolation and just put in 6 if your steps are still set to 1 from before. Okay, just to smooth it out a bit. Alright, so we'll do something like that. I'll just say 1.2 on the radius. Again, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and we're going to have to create the bolt shape again on the inside, so I'm just going to go back to the create panel and grab a cylinder. Alright, drag one out here in the center. It's going to go fairly small like that maybe. Okay, give it a little bit of height, doesn't really matter, we're going to delete it in a sec. Alright, so we'll just say maybe 0.5 on the radius. Okay, and let's take the size down to 6 to get our bolt shape. Alright, just like the Allen wrench would have. Okay, and let's go back to the create panel to shapes. Alright, I'm just going to go to line again, and let's turn our snaps back on, and I'm just going to trace this shape. Alright, just to draw the line. Okay, click on each point, and then it'll ask you if you want to close and say yes. Okay, and we can turn the line off there. Alright, and I'm just going to hit H and select the cylinder. Alright, cylinder 02, and delete it. Okay, we don't really need it. Alright, so let's grab this guy here, convert it to an editable spline. Okay, and we'll just attach the center to it. Okay, and let's jump out into perspective. Alright, it's going to be way over here again, so let's just move it. Oh, why not do that? Just turn the snaps off before you do that. Alright, let's drag it over on the X. Alright, hit Z, zoom in. Alright, looks like I didn't line it up properly. Okay, so let's just fix this quick. I'm just going to go over to the modify panel and select spline. Alright, just grab the inside bolt hole piece. Alright, we'll just move it up. Alright, we can do this in the front view. Alright, zoom way in here. Alright, we'll just move it over. We want to make sure these are perfectly aligned before we shell it, else we're going to have a problem. Okay, so I'll just line it up. Alright, zoom in. Alright, looks pretty good. Okay, let's exit spline. Alright, check it out in perspective. Okay, it looks right now. Okay, so we'll just put the shell modifier on here again, just to get some thickness. Alright, so into the modify list, down to shell. Okay, and it probably doesn't need to be huge. Let's check the reference. Right, they stick out a bit. Let's just move this over so we can judge a bit better. Alright, I might go a little higher. Let's do maybe 1.3 on the outer amount, and we'll just move it out so it's sitting on the surface. Alright, just like that. Okay, let's go into isolation mode, Alt-Q. Alright, so I'm just going to go around to the back, and we'll convert this to editable poly. Okay, and I'm just going to go to polygon, and select the back face, and delete it. Alright, delete, and I'm going to go to border, and just grab the inner border of that hole. Alright, I'm just going to move it forward a bit. Alright, so it's not quite as deep. Alright, maybe a bit more like that. Okay, and I'm just going to hit cap to close it in. Alright, and then we're going to have to kind of build a little shaft on this, so let's select the outer border on the back. Okay, and we'll cap, close the back in. Okay, and let's go to polygon and just grab that back polygon and we'll inset it. Alright, and we might want to check this against our hole, so I'm just going to go into the left view. Okay, and let's exit isolation mode for a second. Okay, and we'll have to inset again because we changed views without hitting OK, so inset. Alright, I'm just going to match the hole as best I can. Hit OK. Alright, let's check this out in perspective again. And I know it's a little hard to see what I'm doing. Alright, so just like that, just inset, and then we'll just extrude it into the hole. Okay. I'll just do 2.5 and hit OK. Or you're never going to see this anyway because it's going to be, you know, underneath the site. Alright, but we'll just do something like that. Okay, and I think I'll just leave the end in there. I won't delete it this time, just in case you could happen to maybe see it when we're done. Alright, so we'll leave it like that, and let's exit polygon. Okay, and let's just soften up a couple of these edges. Alright, so we'll do the center here. I think I might move this edge first. Alright, so I'm going to exit edge, go to cut, and I'm just going to cut from the side over to this side. Right click to end. Okay, and I'm going to go to edge and just take this one out, control backspace. Alright, and then still on edge, I'm just going to select the inside here. And hold Alt and deselect this guy. Alright, I got too many obviously. Alright, so let's hold Alt and just deselect everything but the inside of the hole there. Alright, so just these 18. Okay, and we'll chamfer. Take it way down. Alright, maybe 0.04 and OK. And let's round off the front and back edge. Okay, so we'll grab one of these edges, ring, control click polygon. Alright, control click edge again. And then I'm just going to hold Alt and just drag through the center ones. Okay, just so we have the back and front borders. Alright, and we'll chamfer again. Go up a little bit on this. They look fairly rounded over on the reference. Okay, so we'll do maybe 0.1, hit apply, and then we'll lower it down. Alright, maybe 0.04 on the second amount, and OK. Alright, so just like that. I'm not going to bother chamfering this outer edge here because you're never going to see it. Okay, so just like that, and let's exit edge. Alright, I'm just going to change the color here. Alright, so pretty simple. And again, if you want to take a little more time, you could do a better screw than I'm doing. But at a distance, I think it should hold up okay. So let's just turn off our edges, F4. Right, it might need the smooth modifier. Okay, so let's go into the modify list and just put the smooth on. And I'm just going to use auto smoothing again, but feel free to actually assign some different smoothing groups to it. You'll probably get a nicer result. Alright, so we'll say that's good for the screw, and let's grab our band here. I'm just going to copy the name, Control C, and select our screw, and just paste it in there. Control V, and just add screw to the end so I know what it is, and we can probably center the pivot on it. Okay, Alright, I'm just going to chuck the gray on now that it's all finished up. Okay, so that's probably okay. Maybe could have gone a little bigger, but I think it's close enough. Okay, so with that done, let's actually just select both these pieces, and let's go into the front view. Okay, and we'll just rotate it a bit. Okay, let's go to rotate. Okay, and if we rotate right now, you can see it's not going to work. Okay, so what I'm just going to do quickly is select the band piece. I just want to make sure the pivot point is centered on this. Alright, so I'm going to open up the hierarchy tab, effect pivot only, centered object. Alright, then turn it off. Alright, you can see if I hit effect pivot only, it looks like it's on a weird angle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go down here and hit reset pivot. Okay, just to snap it to the center, and so it's lined up properly. Okay, and then I'm going to take this one here, the screw, and I'm going to turn on effect pivot only. Alright, I'm not going to hit centered object, I'm actually going to go to the align tool with this active. Alright, and just click on the band. Okay, and XYZ in both pivot points, and okay. Alright, then we can turn this off. Alright, just so the screw pivot point is in the exact position of the band. Okay, that should let us rotate it without a problem. Okay, so let's select the screw and the band. Okay, and go to rotate, and we'll just spin them. Okay, and you can see now it's going to work. Alright, so we'll just go down, just figure out where we want to put this. Alright, I think maybe right about there. Alright, just because we need it to be sitting on top of here, but go across to touch here, alright, to support it. So maybe we'll do that. Alright, let's check it out in perspective. Alright, it might be down a little too much. Let's rotate it back a bit. Alright, so I'm just going to skip one segment here between this and this. Okay, I'll just do it right there if you want to match it. Alright. That looks a little better. Okay, so let's go to the left view. Alright, just gonna hit Z. Hit F3. Okay, and let's just clone the band over. Alright, so I'm going to move. And I still have the screw selected as well. And we'll hold shift and just drag over on the X. Alright, just to get our other one. And copy and OK. Alright, that looks pretty good, I think. Alright, so before we actually do the site piece, let's save. Now that we have that done. Okay, so let's just take a look here. Alright, so for the piece up here, I think the quickest way to make that is probably out of a spline again. Okay, so we'll do that. Alright, so let's jump out and actually we can probably hide some of this stuff. Let's select all this junk over here and then just hold Alt and deselect the barrel. I'll just right click and hide selection. Okay, and now we'll go out into the left view. Alright, so we'll zoom in here. Okay, and let's just go to the create panel, over to shapes, to rectangle. Okay, and we'll just drag out a rectangle that's about the size we need. Again, we're not going to be able to match it exactly to the print. That's okay. Just do it maybe there. Alright, and if you look on the reference, the top of this thing has rounded over corners. Okay, so let's round over the corners. Alright, so we'll convert it to an editable spline. Okay, and we'll just go to vertex. Alright, grab these top two verts and just go down to fillet, turn that on, and we'll just click and drag up just to round the edges over a bit. Alright, maybe like that. Okay, we can turn that off. Alright, when you do this, if you're not getting a smooth curve, just make sure your steps are set to 6 under interpolation. Okay, so we'll exit vertex, and we're also going to need a couple of circles here again for these guys. Alright, so let's go back to the create panel, shapes, grab a circle, and we'll just drag one out here. Okay, and it might do it maybe 3 on the radius. Okay, and we'll just copy this over. So let's shift drag a copy on the X over here. Copy and OK, and then we're going to need one more for this little pinhole here. Okay, so let's just drag another copy over holding shift. Say OK, and then we'll just go to scale and scale it down on the triangle. Alright, so it's a bit smaller. Okay, and I think that's it right there on the picture, so I'm just going to stick it maybe right there. Alright. Okay, so let's select the outer one, and we'll just attach them all together. Okay, so let's go into the modify panel, down to attach. Alright, you can also use attach multiple. Alright, if you click that, it'll open up this box and let you choose any lines that you have in your scene. Okay, so we'll just choose all 3 circles and hit attach. Alright, And let's go back out to perspective and just move it over into position. Alright, so let's drag it over on the X. Alright, and let's just give it some thickness with a shell modifier again. Okay, so into the modifiers, down to shell. Alright, let's check the reference. Alright, so the sides are fairly thin. Okay, so I think I'll just leave this at 1 on the outer amount. Okay. And let's convert it to editable poly, and we'll fix our edges again. These guys. Okay, so I'm just going to change the color. Throw my blue on there. Okay, and let's go to cut, and we'll just quickly cut these to clean it up. Alright, so I'm just going to go maybe from the top of the circle up to the top edge. Right click and right click to end, and I'll just cut to the bottom, I think, as well. Right down to the bottom edge. Okay, I'm going to do that on each of these guys. And the reason I'm doing the bottom ones and the top is just because down at the bottom there we're going to need a couple of extra segments to start pulling out our pieces here. Okay, so we'll just do it this way, and then we'll have some extra edges when we're done. Alright, let's do the same with this guy here. Okay, and I might just connect these, I think, together, these circles. Okay, so vert to vert again, and when your cursor turns into a little tiny square, that means you're on a vert. Okay, so maybe just like that, and let's go to edge and just get rid of some of these ones. Okay, so I'm just going to control click these 3, hit control backspace, get rid of them. Alright, got a little tiny one there that we don't need, get rid of that guy. Okay, just like that. And let's do the same on this side. Alright, so back to cut. I'm just going to turn off edge. And we'll do the same thing. Alright, and the same thing here. Okay, and then the bottom. Alright, just like that, and let's connect the centers up. Alright, exit cut, go to edge, and just select these guys again. And control backspace. Alright, and get rid of that little extra guy there, we don't need it. Okay, and we could probably go up on top here and just go to cut one more time and just connect these two sides if you want to. Alright, vert to vert. Okay, and then around the bottom we'll just do the same thing quickly. Alright, so just like that. Okay, so let's take another look. Alright, so it looks like this piece sticks out right between the two holes. Okay, so we're going to need another segment in here. Alright, so let's jump out and go into the left view. Okay, and I think I'll just turn off cut here and use the quick slice tool again. Alright, so we'll just turn that on, click up here, and then just drag straight down. Okay, like that. And we're also going to need our segment across the bottom so we have something to actually pull out for those tab pieces that stick out. Okay, so let's maybe quick slice this one as well. Alright, we'll just go right across at the bottom. Okay, try to keep the edge somewhat straight. Click, and then turn this off. Alright, and then I might actually go in here and just add another cut from this circle down to the bottom. Okay, just to give us another edge to make this little piece here. Okay, so back to cut one more time, and we'll just go right from the bottom of the circle all the way to the bottom of the piece. Alright, we did that on the front. Okay, so let's connect the bottoms up. Alright, just like that. And now if we look on the reference here, you can see this side's wide open. There's no piece that goes across here. Alright, and that's not really going to work obviously for us because we have two bands. Alright, so if we do that, we're going to have a screw that doesn't go anywhere when we're done. Okay, so I think we might just make a little piece and pull it across. Alright. Alright, you can see on here it's different. There's something definitely in there, but I can't tell what it looks like. Alright, so we'll just kind of wing this as well. Okay, so let's go to the left view. Alright, and let's just use quick slice again. Alright, we'll turn that on. I'm just going to cut another segment in here. Alright, maybe right there. And straight, and click. Okay, and we're also going to need another one over here. Alright, so I might just cut right from the corner. Straight down. Okay, just like that. Alright, let's check out the top here. Might need to weld something together here. Alright, I'm just going to go to vertex, target weld. Alright, and just weld these guys together. Okay, and turn that off. Okay, so I think that's good. Alright, so we'll exit vertex. Alright, go around to the inside. Alright, and let's just go to polygon. We'll just grab these three guys right here. Okay, and we'll extrude. Alright, this one we don't need to do too much. Let's do maybe 3. And then we'll hit OK. And then I'm just going to grab this center one here and extrude. Alright, I'll just do 3 again. We can always adjust it if we have to. And then for this guy over here, let's just pull this right across. Alright, so we'll extrude, and we'll do 6. Alright, just so it matches this edge. And OK. Alright, just like that. Alright, so let's exit polygon, and let's just put the symmetry modifier on here so we can figure out the width we need. Okay, so back into the modify list, down to symmetry. Alright, we'll have to flip the axis. Alright, looks like it's going to be the Z. Let's just go up to the rollout, open it up, and select mirror, and just move the mirror. Alright, let's hit flip as well. Okay, and we'll just move them so they touch. Alright, figure out the width we need. Alright, we're still sitting a little too high here, we're going to have to move it down. Okay, so let's turn off mirror, close up the rollout. Okay, I'm just going to push this down just so it kind of sits on top of the tab piece. Alright, move it down like that maybe. Alright, I'm going to leave it overhanging it a little bit. Alright, might move it over just slightly. I'll probably do this in the front view. It'll probably be easier. Alright, so let's zoom in here. Alright, so I'm going to move it down just so maybe this edge is just on the corner of that piece. Okay, and then let's just adjust the width one more time with mirror. Okay. Just going to move it over a little bit. Okay. Turn that off, exit that. Alright, so I think that should be, close enough. Okay. Alright, so just like that. Alright, so before we go any farther, let's just do a save.